Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Untitled Hoops podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about basketball, mainly the NBA, mainly the 76ers. I am your host, Sean. Over there is your other host, Marquise. Say hi, Marquise.
Hi.
All right. Welcome back. If you are a repeat viewer, if this is your first time, welcome. Hi, how are you?
What's up?
Happy to have you. Um, so the NBA finals are over. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, the reigning Finals MVP.
Sean, I'm not gonna cut you off. But Bradley Bill's on the fucking Suns.
Okay, well, all right, but can we finish like the recap of like what happened in between our last
Go ahead.
episode and now?
Go ahead.
The Denver Nuggets won the championship. Nikola Jokic won Finals MVP. Congratulations to them. Miami Heat lost 4-1. Uh, yeah. So Bradley Beal's on the Suns.
Bradley Bill is on the Suns. Me and Sean was originally supposed to record tomorrow. But once this shit happened, I was like, yeah, I changed all that shit. I was like, bro, we
Yeah,
gotta
we
do
got
this
to
shit
get in
tonight.
that algorithm.
We got it.
We got to get up in there.
I literally was like, listen, majority of the people are going to talk about it. Are going to talk about it tomorrow. We're going to get in there. We're going to get some
Yeah.
people. We're going to get some subscribers. Some people going to join the conversation. But
Yep.
the full trade I believe is Bradley Bill by himself
Hmm.
for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet. I think it said like multiple seconds and multiple pick swaps. Um, what do you think about the deal just in general?
Well, first and foremost, I'm starting to feel bad for Chris Paul because this is like the third time this has happened to him. Maybe fourth. I think the fourth
No, I mean, well,
because originally
he won it out of New Orleans. I thought he won it out.
no, he won it out in New Orleans, but then from the Clippers to the Thunder, or from the Clippers to the Rockets,
Mm-hmm.
like there was never really any like he wants out of the Clippers. It just the Clippers kind of fell apart,
Yeah.
and he ended up going to the Rockets. But even then, the Clippers were like kind of going through a rebuild, just like Chris, we're just gonna move you, and it's just like okay. Then he goes to the Rockets, and they're like one of the top teams in the West. They make it to the conference finals,
One game
and
away
then
from putting away the Kevin Durant Warriors.
exactly, and then maybe what 2 years later, yeah, we're going in a different direction. Chris, we're moving you to Oklahoma City, and they trade him to the Thunder for Russell Westbrook. It's always been like they're either the team's going in a rebuild or they just want a younger superstar to pair with their other star, and they have to move Chris Paul to do it.
Yeah.
So they go to Thunder. Thunder's like, yeah, we're going in a rebuild. We're going to trade you away, and they trade him to Phoenix for picks and like pieces or whatever. And then Phoenix is just like, yeah, we want another star to pair with our other stars. So Chris, we're gonna have to move you. Like
And all right,
it
so
just keeps happening, and he keeps what's fucked up is that he keeps going to places and making the teams better, and then people want to go to those teams, and then they're
right,
like, all right, since people want to come here, Chris, we're gonna have to trade you.
right,
Like, bro, I
and
was the one.
and what makes me kind of one I don't like the trade for the Suns. I'm gonna go out there and say
No.
it. I do not. I think it's stupid. I think it's very stupid. I think
Yep.
Kevin Durant is keep orchestrating these teams that don't fit well together. They just
Yeah.
don't. Now you don't have a point guard. Now you got two shooting guards
Yep.
and a small forward. Like then you still have a center. Like you got to trade DeAndre Ayton now, because now you
Yeah.
have no bench because you traded for Kevin Durant. That the new CBA is going to like really cut down on your ass, and you literally just might have these three guys and fucking Damari Carroll comes out of fucking retirement and fucking Isaiah Thomas. Like
And it's
there's nothing
it's crazy because now at this point, DeAndre Ayton really is your only like
asset.
asset
Yeah,
of any
he's
value
it.
that you can
You
move.
traded. You've literally traded away all your second round picks. You've traded
Yeah.
away all your first round picks to get Kevin Durant. You just traded away the rest of the swaps to the
Yep.
uh to the Wizards. Like you have nothing no more. And you got
Except DeAndre Ayton.
you have Bradley Beal, who's on the I think the third biggest contract in the NBA. Kevin Durant, who's on a big contract, Devin Booker is on the max. Like, there's nothing you could really do at all. And then you trade Landry Shamet, which I don't understand why you would trade him because the money already worked. Well, I guess probably didn't because Chris Paul's getting paid 30 and Bradley Beal's gonna get paid $46 million next year. By the end of his contract,
He's getting paid Embiid numbers.
he's getting paid MVP numbers,
Yeah,
and he's not that or will ever be that.
right.
He's like a solid second, third option, but a solid like people trying to call this a super team. It's not a fucking super team. A super team,
No.
which made a super team crazy, is that they had a star already. They had a team that was really together, and then they added another one or two stars, which made it a super team. Y'all literally have 3 players. Your roster is what 5 players. It was a Cameron Payne, and DeAndre Ayton, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. That's like damn near the entire roster right now. And
This isn't a championship team. Like I hate to say it, but you can just look at it. Like Devin Booker and nobody wants to admit it. Devin Booker and Bradley Beal are as close as you can get to the same player.
Yeah, obviously Devin Booker's better, but like it's
which is crazy because you already had him. So why would you go out and try to get Bradley Beal?
And then on top of that, you have no point guard.
Yeah,
you have no point.
You have a center who doesn't really want to be there.
What I didn't understand, because when we talked about when they got eliminated, we said they got thrown together last minute, run it back. You're gonna sign some pieces and you're good,
and get a healthy Chris Paul back.
Right, and you fucking trade him for one of the biggest contracts in the NBA to one of the players who don't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. Like that was just like John Wall contract. They gave him a loyalty contract. They gave him to you're a guy. We're gonna pay you. We want to take care of you. Y'all gave him that. They got that contract, and now he's on your books. And when the CBA cracks down to where now you might be your mid-level exception might be taken away, veteran minimums you might be little. You can't there's certain things that you can't do. You can't do buyouts. You can't bring in buyout players. Like you're handicapping yourself. To where DeAndre Ayton is not going to get you back a lot. And maybe that's what they're thinking. Like he's not going to give us back a lot, but he's at least going to give us back something. Yeah. And I don't understand why they didn't try to trade DeAndre Ayton also to the Wizards. Because they do have like Monte Morris who probably will come over and there's a nice solid point guard, elite backup, or even in this case a starter. And then it's like, what you gonna do? You gonna put Bradley Beal at the 3? I mean, you gonna put Devin Booker at the 1, or you gonna put Bradley? You got like Devin Booker at your 2, Bradley Beal at your 3, and Kevin Durant is at your 4. It's like
Kevin Durant's the point guard.
Like it's like obviously Devin Booker has shown playmaking skills, and so has Bradley Beal, but neither of them are a point guard.
Right.
And Kevin Durant can play make when he wants to, but like you literally put together 3 guys who were the guy on their team and just said, make it work. You know when they did that before? Fucking Brooklyn. And it didn't work, Sean. It didn't work. And
I would even argue that Brooklyn was actually a better team than this Suns team.
Because James Harden was a point guard.
And because they had depth. Like they had Joe Harris, they had Seth Curry, they had Patty Mills, they had fucking Andre Drummond for a season. They had Nicholas Claxton. Like, they had these guys, Bruce Brown. Like they had guys, they had depth, they had star power, and the stars fit with together.
And I just it doesn't make sense to me. As a trade, I'm pretty sure they're going to win some games. Right. Frank, you got, and then on top of that, you got a new coach. Not only that he has to deal with that, obviously he's a championship coach. He won a championship in the bubble with the Lakers, Frank Vogel. We're talking about, but like it's like, bro, it's so much shit you got to deal with.
Yeah,
it's so much, and obviously this is a, I guess, more compatible team because Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are both on like their workhorses. They're not really in the media. They're not, this and that. You're not going to hear that about them. Like literally, it took everything to pry fucking Bradley Beal away from the Wizards. So you're not going to hear that, but it's also like I just see 3 guys who play the same. Like they're all
Yeah,
mid range guys. They're all like stuff like that. Like it just is fucking Bradley Bill magically gonna become your point guard? Like I don't see the direction. Like I don't, especially when with the league is going. Like the fucking super team is dead. Why are you still trying to create one?
I don't know what they were expect. I don't know if they're. See, here's the thing. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if their plan is to go into the season with just this team. I don't know if their plan is to maybe hope that like, oh, maybe James Harden, you know, opts out and you can sign him to like a small deal or whatever. But I don't see that happening. He already took a pay cut to go back to Philly, and we saw how that ended. I mean, maybe they're thinking they can be a part of the Dame sweepstakes. I don't see it if all you can offer really is DeAndre Ayton. Like, I don't see what their plan is to like fill these holes because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't have any draft picks. You have no options. Like the team now is just the team. Like this is what it's gonna be. And I feel like the fact that you chose to go after Bradley Beal instead of Dame when Dame might become available, like you could have offered that same package plus maybe DeAndre Ayton to Portland for Dame and some throw-in piece, and that would have been a much better team. That would have been a much more compatible team to have a point guard and Devin Booker and KD. Even if those are your only three guys, at least you're in the same situation where you got three guys who just want to hoop, but like they actually complement each other a little bit better. Dame is used to playing with another scoring guard. Like that would make more sense. But Bradley Beal, like it just never made any sense to me. And I heard people talking, you know, on different podcasts and stuff like that. That Dallas was an option. And I was like, Dallas is even worse. Dallas is even worse.
Dallas makes more sense than fucking Suns.
No, it's less because Dallas's two best players are players who are basically Bradley Beal. They're scoring guards who need the ball in their hands to be effective. With
But
the Suns, at least you
if
have
you
KD who can play a little bit off the ball. Devin Booker can play a little bit off the ball. Kyrie is like,
but in a sense, if you get Bradley Bill, you're probably not the goal is not have Kyrie.
okay, sure, but in the end, you're still. If that's the case, Dallas is still in the same problem where you have two ball dominant guards. Like Bradley can play off the
I
ball a little bit, but at the
I
same time, you have two more ball dominant guards as your two best players, and still no little to no interior presence. Like that doesn't move the needle much for Dallas at all. If anything, Bradley Beal is a little bit of a downgrade from Kyrie.
I think personally, Bradley Bill is a better fit in terms of locker room and I mean on the court style of play. I think
Okay,
those Luca and Bradley Bill would be way more compatible than Kyrie because I just feel like Kyrie is kind of like I'm in it. Like I don't even know where Kyrie's head is, and I don't want to talk about Kyrie. We still want to stay on the shit that we're on, and what does this mean? Let's look at it from the Wizard side of it. Um, it really shocked me because they did say like because of his contract that they wouldn't be getting much back in terms of like assets and picks for the Wizards. This is just a true like we're gonna reset.
yeah, which
And
they should have done a long time ago.
they should have done this 2 years ago. They should have done this before they signed Bradley Bill.
Yeah,
They would have got way more. They would have his contract would have been big, and they would have been they could have probably had a chance to get Wimby. Like
yeah,
you waited too long. This is another sense of like you're waiting too long. You played the loyalty game just for you to have to trade him anyway.
yeah,
They did get a new regime in there, and that was a big part of them moving forward. Like the people that they signed, like they wasn't going to sign unless they could like have full control of the team and what was it. And literally, once they got in there, people were like, "All right, the first thing you gotta do is trade Bradley." And um, this opens a lot of things up for a lot of other teams because there was rumors that the Wizards are talking to the Blazers about the number 3 pick and possibly a trade center around Porzingis. The Wizards are talking about possibly rerouting Chris Paul and sending him somewhere else. So like I
yeah.
personally don't think the Wizards are done. I mean, obviously they can just buy Chris Paul out because they're not going to need the cap space. They're not going to need it right now
Right.
for where they're going. But like honestly, like the Wizards have put themselves in a situation where like obviously they get as much back, but with the assets they still have on the team, they can make a couple moves. They can still probably get a couple more seconds, maybe even a couple firsts for
Yeah.
certain players they have on their team. Like if Kyle Kuzma wants to go to a team where they can't side him straight up and out of free agency, he could go back to them, do a sign and trade. So can Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
Um, like maybe Kristaps Porzingis gets traded to the fucking Heat and like they get something back or they get like Jovic. I know that was a name they said a lot in their trade conversations.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like just young pieces. They're not really looking for much. They're just looking. They got their picks. They're cool to like we could just trade, get rid of pieces, and they still. I mean, listen. The thing the Wizards have to have that they haven't had since I guess John Wall was healthy is they never really had a direction. They really
Yeah.
were just like, let's get Chris Stapps, let's just find players to play, and that's kind of how they've been. And right now, it just shows that they got a direction. They're gonna reset. They're finally gonna do it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's time. They're doing it a little bit too late, but now it's better than ever.
Yeah. I mean, the Wizards have been one of those limbo teams, kind of like what the Kings were for a while. Um, I mean, even the Blazers, honestly, like the teams that you just couldn't figure out where they were trying to go. Like, are you trying to rebuild or are you trying to win a championship? At the end of the day, in the NBA, there's really only two states of being. You can either be A, competing for a championship, or B, in a rebuild.
The
If
middle is
you're
the
not in one of
worst.
those two things, you're in limbo, right? Like you're not really doing much of anything. Charlotte Hornets, I would say, is another team that's in that boat, sort of. Um,
But what I would say about the Hornets is one of the major things that fucked them up was that Miles Bridges shit. Because it looked like they
yeah,
had a direction with him and
yeah,
LaMelo, and we'll get to that because Zion might be joining the Hornets. Like there's like so much happening right now that we get to cover, and this is like the greatest time of the season, especially when your team gets taken out in the second round and you have nothing else to be happy for.
yeah.
This is the best part of the season. New coaches and all this other stuff. Next rumor is this is more so a Sixer fan rumor. This is a Sixer
Hmm.
podcast sometimes, but unfortunately, Tobias Harris, NBA insiders are confident that Tobias Harris will be on a new team by the end of this summer.
Mm. I mean, that's another one. It's kind of like the Bradley Beal thing. Like, okay, cool, but what are we getting back?
I feel like
Because if Tobias Harris has 1 year left, because I'm pretty sure this is his last year of his contract,
yes, it
right?
is.
He's an expiring deal. Like, yes, it's much easier to move expiring deals, but at the same time, if you're not getting anything significant back, you might as well just keep him for the last year.
But think about it though.
Because
Think about it though. With the new CBA, this contract is great because you only got to deal with 1 year of it and or waive it. Like so, this
yeah,
contract is very good for most people. Like this contract it gets better because there's only 1 year. Whereas
yeah,
though, like a lot of teams have kind of set themselves up for failure because they got multiple guys on contracts with like $15 million each. Where like, oh fuck, we got these guys for multiple years, and now the CBA is going to start really shrink down on us. If we get this
yeah,
guy who's probably two of these guys' contracts put together, but we only have to deal with him for 1 year, and then we have the cap space. A lot of teams are going to look at Tobias Harris, and he's a quality player. Maybe when they
yeah.
trade him, they're going to get the birds right. So maybe even sign him back to a cheaper deal. But like, it's a very good contract, especially with the new rules and the new changes.
Well, I don't think bird rights means you can sign them to a cheaper deal. I think bird rights just means you have the
No, no,
ability to offer them the most money.
you can sign him like that's what I'm saying. Like you can give him a contract extension. That's what I meant
Oh yeah,
without
yeah.
him touching free agency.
Right, 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 right. Um, but also even if they were, if I'm not mistaken, with bird rights, even if they did hit free agency, you still, as the team that they are currently on, you still have the ability to offer them more than any other team could.
Yeah. And also, you could go over the
The cap.
salary, the cap to sign the
Yeah.
person with bird rights.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but like at the end of the day, yeah, it still depends on what are we getting in return.
I feel
Because
like
the way that I'm looking at this is like this is our last year.
yeah,
This is the last year that we have before it becomes a complete like, all right, we got to start looking at maybe blowing things up.
yeah.
At the very least, making a few like big changes.
For us, it's literally like if we don't get to
Championship.
like damn near yeah, like if we go to the Eastern Conference Finals, we go deep and then we lose it in like a game 7. I think they run it back. But like anything less than a deep run, I don't
Yeah.
think is even worth it anymore. Because at a certain point, we're in a Dame Lillard thing where it's like we're constantly trading away assets, we're constantly trading away this, we're constantly doing
Yeah.
this, we're constantly like hurting ourselves in the pockets when in reality, it shit we're holding on to what? You know what I mean? Like it's time to let it go. And if push come to shove, we're going to get a haul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to get a haul for that big man. Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
It,
Hopefully it doesn't come to that. But like that's what this is kind of looking like. I'm not gonna lie.
it sucks. The Sixers are kind of in a similar situation to like how the Raptors were a few years ago when LeBron was still in the Cavs. It's like a lot of times our biggest issue, our biggest competitors, right? Our biggest competition are in our conference. Like we match up well against pretty much anybody else that
We just
comes
gotta
out of the
get
West.
there, bro.
But we just have to get there. Like our biggest adversaries are in our own conference: Milwaukee, Miami, Boston. It's always been those teams. I mean, always been those three teams, and it's been a year after year thing where looking ahead, if we can get past Boston, if we can get past Miami, if we can get past Milwaukee, it's always been like it's probably downhill from there. Like
Right.
honestly, like we match up well against the Nuggets, we match up well against the Lakers. Like there just isn't really much opposition. Not to say that the Nuggets would have been like an easy series. It probably would have at least gone 6 games, but you can go into that series with confidence. Whereas with Boston, no matter how much talent we have on our team, it's always like, yeah, but it's Boston.
It's not good enough.
Yeah, like it's Boston. Like we can't, no matter how much talent we have, no matter who they have, if they're injured, Jalen Brown could have been out this series. I still would have been like, yeah, we'll see.
What was it? You know what I mean? And like the fact that like I don't know. That's just thinking about this fucking team just makes me sick. And like it shouldn't be this way, but it does, man. It does. It makes me fucking sick because like
But
it
my
just
but to close things off though, like what I was trying to say was just like the point that I'm trying to make is if you're not getting something that's going to help you win a championship this year, just keep Tobias.
I think if you could turn Tobias into two players that can do something that's not, catching the ball in the corner and then trying to dribble. Like I feel like you kind of you won the trade. Like I feel like in a sense that we might. I'm not gonna say get more back because we have to still remember that Chris Paul was still a part of this trade.
Right.
Um, you might the trade for Tobias might look better than the trade for Bradley Bill in a sense of like what you got back
Mm,
and
maybe.
the fit on the team because we're not trading for we're not trading Tobias for another star. Like we could just throw that
Right.
out. We're trading him for additional pieces
Right.
that would work along our side. And I throw this out there just because
Basically threes and fours.
yeah, like just additional pieces that can just come over, shoot the ball most likely, rebound or something like that. And like the team I keep throwing out there just because of who they're about to draft. This is Spurs I'm talking about. Who they're about to draft.
Yeah.
Tobias is a veteran that everybody loves. It will only be for 1 year. I always say the Spurs. Like I always say that like if you trade Tobias for the Spurs
Yeah.
and like not even take money back, like trade him to the Spurs, give them like a protected first round pick to take his contract,
Yeah.
and like let them like, hey, we don't even want that. We just want to cap, or we don't even want that. We just want a trade exception so we could go do something else. Like I feel like we're in a point where like we don't even need something back from him. Like, or the
I disagree with that. I think we need at least one player.
but this is my thing. If James Harden declines, right, which we expect him to do, James Harden declines. You trade Tobias, right? You have Tyrese Maxey. I don't know why people like assume we need a second like a second star. Where I don't know whether it's me just being a Maxey guy, but I
Hmm.
think Maxey should be number two. And what you really should be trying to get is a number three, somebody who can fill in for number two, but like a guy who knows his role and will play it and can hit shots occasionally, who can step up in certain games. Like you need a MPJ where like he's not the best player on the team, he's not the second best player on the team, but there's times where he fucking looks like it. Like you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like and this free agency class is not filled with a lot of one and second best players. There's a lot of guys who fit rosters and our championship pieces. That's what I'm saying. Like, if like look, like let me do it. I'm gonna just do it just like fictionally, just to see how much money we are looking at. But like,
hmm,
if you trade Tobias, that's $39 million gone. And if James Harden declines his contract, which we think he's gonna do, that's $47 million in cap space that you can
yeah,
go and fill out your roster with a whole bunch of players that can play, that can fit your style, that's going to buy in, that's not really going to need the ball, but can do stuff with the ball occasionally.
yeah,
That's your Harrison Barnes who probably replaces Tobias completely. That's your Gary Trents that you could throw a little bit of a bag at. Like that's those type of guys. Like I mentioned Gary Trent before, but like I think he's one of those guys where he knows his role, but if he
yeah,
gets fucking on fire, you're fucked. Because now you got to deal with him shooting a three, Tyrese Maxey and Joel running the pick and roll, and then Joel and B just breathing. Like that's too much for a team to deal with.
yeah,
Just and then having like a Harrison Barnes that could defend and hit three, like just like those guys. I feel like we've been so fixated on stars for so long that we have forgot about the people along the way that helped those get to where they're at. Like that game seven, when we're seeing fucking the best player be PJ Tucker and fucking D'Anthony Melton. Like there's more guys like that out there that are even better than them, but aren't
yeah.
superstars that you could add to this team, and they could be very much, like respectable. Like it is. I'm just in this place where like just get a
I I agree. The problem is to go that route, you have to be so precise. That's the thing about getting stars. Stars are a bit of a cushion where it's like even if the team doesn't fit all that well, you can kind of lean on talent to get you the rest of the way there. But with the type of option that you're talking about, everything has to fit perfectly. You have to get the right guys in every position or else it won't work. And the Nuggets did that, but they did it a lot through the draft. So it's like you can kind of develop guys into what you want them to be. In free agency, it's kind of tough. Remember, Josh Richardson was a pretty good 3-point shooter before we got him. Then we got him, and it was like, okay, he's not good enough.
but also he was already a sketchy 3-point shooter anyway. We're talking about
He was shooting almost 40% for his career.
But we're talking about a legit sniper in Gary Trent Jr.
True, but at the same time, is he going to be able to knock down the types of shots, like contested shots, like even just like is he playing in a format right now that's going to be anything similar to what he would be in next to Joel Embiid and Tyrese
But
Maxey?
think about the last like, legit shooters that Joel Embiid has had. Their games elevated just by
Yeah,
being on the floor with him.
yeah,
JJ Redick had his career numbers playing next to him. Seth Curry had his career numbers. George Niang even had career numbers playing next to him. It's just the opportunity that Joel provides just being there. And
yeah,
Gary Trent being what 6'5", he's never had a lethal shooter like that that can run off picks like that big that also can defend. He's never had that. Like he's never had something like that. And a guy who could get hot, like
I
I'm talking,
mean, Robert was probably the closest.
and that's not great. That's not the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Like guy like Gary Trent Jr. could win you a playoff game.
Yeah,
Just like him, just getting hot can win you a playoff game.
yeah,
Another guy I'm looking at that Joel is cool with, Jordan Clarkson, he could win you a playoff game. Like just look.
I don't want to. I don't want to stack up too much on guards though. We need forwards.
No, I'm saying like the combos of Gary Trent, who's like 6'5". Um, I always throw out Harrison Barnes because I think Harrison Barnes is just one of those guys that like I don't know. I see him and I think winner. And I don't know why it's always been this way. Probably because he
Yeah,
had that fucking game winner against us when we were a 10-win team. And I don't know. And like ever since I don't know. He just has the personality that I think would be kind of the Tobias, but you pay him less.
yeah,
Like I just see like even Alec Burke, bring out Alec Burke back. He's 6'6" guard, 6'6" forward. He could play make, he could shoot, he could score, he could create his own shot. Like there's so many guys that like you just add to like your two guys that Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid that I feel like would fit like the team. And like we've seen Alec Burke go for 30. We've seen Seth Curry go for 30. We've
yeah,
seen we see these guys that could fit just a system and thrive off of it. Shit, we've seen Shake do that. We've seen Furkan do that. Like these guys are better than them. And they're not superstars. They're not stars. They're rotation players. If you could just
yeah,
get a whole bunch of those guys who know their roles, who plays within a team, who could buy in, this team is way better. It's not maybe the most talented team, but how many times have we had the most talented team and it does not fucking work out? Rather than having
yeah,
a team that's all for each other. And like we're looking at fucking Dario Saric, fucking let's go down the list. Like there's Seth Curry, um, Isaac Okoro, Lonnie Walker, these guys who just you know the names, but you don't really think of them unless they're on a team. They
yeah.
can. I don't know. It's just so much out there that we could do, and I'm just like, I just want them to have a different approach to what we've already like seen and seen fail.
I mean, obviously we have to see what James is gonna do, right? That's the first thing. After that, you kind of had to make the decisions from there. But I don't know. I mean, for me, I'm always like, I'd much rather just be like, listen, this is your last year. Like, I'd much rather just run it back and just tell them like, hey, we're gonna try and get some more pieces for the bench because that's really kind of like what fucked us up, you know, last season. But other than that, like, this is your last year. We're gonna run it back, and if it doesn't work out, Joe, you're probably going to Miami.
Probably not, because
Like,
then they probably gonna trade everything they got to try to fucking give a damn.
but even
That's
then, Dame hasn't even been confirmed to be available yet.
I don't know. I just because like I just want to see it when we get competent pieces.
Yeah,
Like our best bench player in the playoffs was damn near our only bench player, and that was fucking
yeah,
D'Anthony Melton. He was the only
yeah.
person that could hold his own.
But
That was
see, and part of that is like, is it is it is it really that the Anthony Melton's our only competent bench player, or is it that Doc Rivers doesn't want to play anybody else?
I think George Niang, if he played better defense in the playoffs, but really it's kind of the Furkan thing where like if he can't make a shot, he's just out there.
But
Um,
even Jalen McDaniels, like, there's like there were
Jalen
guys who I
Daniels got
felt like,
played off the floor at one point. You know what I mean? Like he was unplayable at one point.
yeah,
He has the body that you would want for him, but like also he's like skinny as hell. So they were just
yeah.
moving him out the way. And who I really want to see them try to like just give a shot. That's why I haven't like included him in any trades that like I make the little mock trades. Is because I want to see what Jaden Springer can do. Like he's a third year guard now. He's only 20 years old. I see like defensively you see it, and then like
But is he being developed?
that's when Rico Hines comes in, who is the new coach of the 76, the new development coach of the Sixers, who
But is
has
it? But see, now it's. I don't want to say it's too late, but it's like,
Bryce only 20.
no. I don't mean too late, like for him as far as age, but I mean like, are you really trying to develop him while he's playing? Like,
I
while
would,
he's getting minutes? Typically, development is something that happens a little bit more behind the scenes, and then they get playing time.
but I also, what if he has something in him and Doc was just too stubborn to fucking play him?
I didn't. I mean, he only really got garbage minutes, but at the same time, during those minutes, I personally didn't see anything.
I every time I seen him play, even though it was garbage minutes, I seen something new versus him just trying to get his shot. Like normally when you're up 30, it's just you out there, you're trying to score, just doing anything. I saw him facilitating. I saw him really defending. I saw him there's legit time where he could have went to a layup, but he just passed that shit to somebody. Like you
Mm,
know what I mean? Like there's certain things you see in somebody where it's like, all right, we could use that. That can be
yeah,
taken away. And like I just think 6'4", he's stocky as hell. Like
yeah,
he's like a even like a 6'4" Grant Williams. I don't know why that's the first name that popped in my head, but he's stocky and he could defend and like he's athletic. Like it's just so much there. And he shot 40% in fucking the G League. He shot 40% the last year in the G League. He shot 40% in college. And it's just like, dog, we legit need players like him.
yeah,
He can rebound. Like it bro, it's nothing to give this man a shot, bro. A game
yeah.
that Joel rests or a game that you want to rest somebody. Like just let him go out there and just like try, bro. Like
That's
on it.
another thing. When you brought up Joel resting, that's another thing. We need a backup fucking center, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like we need a backup center. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking Montrezl Harrell was going to work. You know what it was? I think like the year or whatever Montrez and James were in Houston when they kind of played well together. That gave me some hope, but
Bro
I
can't
don't know
jump
what
no
has
more.
happened to him since then.
Bro can't jump no more.
He cannot fucking jump anymore.
Bro, and the craziest thing is he was out for like a week, and it wasn't like a week like he was out like injury. He was just DNP, and he came back,
Yeah,
bro, and it looked like he got like bigger. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like he clocked
right.
in, and maybe blue is just not his color, and just the angle, it looked like it did not look great, bro. I'm like, damn,
I don't
Montrez, you looking
know.
like me out there, bro. You gotta,
I don't know what's going on.
gotta.
I don't know what is going on with Montrezl Harrell.
And
But
he also has a
we,
player option.
yeah, and you know he gonna accept it.
He accept that shit. And like Daniel House already accepted his, but also Daniel House is somebody I can see being used
Yeah,
in a Nick Nurse system
yeah.
more than a like I damn near think that if we don't bring back Paul Reed, I don't think they're going to go with the center. Even though they should, I think it's going to be some tall ass wing that can switch everything.
I don't want to do that.
I don't either, but like,
I think it
oh,
should be an actual center. I think you can't play the whole season, damn near the whole season with not just a center, but like one of the best, more traditional centers in the league as far as like playing back to the basket, facilitating out of the post, and all that kind of stuff, and then just trying to switch immediately to like this small ball, handle the ball on the perimeter type of center. Like,
see, this is the thing. If he has guys that can buy in, right,
mm-hmm,
and that he doesn't feel like he has to defer to. Like I feel like there's a lot of times where Joel deferred to James Harden because you go, damn, he got to get rhythm. He's trying to get him a rhythm or he's trying to get him some easy shit. Tyrese Maxey
yeah,
was one of those guys where he just kind of found it whenever it came. Like he kind of
yeah,
just found it. Whereas though Joel needs those more of those guys that are just ready when their name is called versus somebody that's going to need to get in rhythm. Like a Tobias Harris needed to get
yeah,
in rhythm. A James
yeah.
Harden needed to get in rhythm. Harrison Barnes don't need to get in rhythm. Pass him the ball a couple times in the corner. Like I'm gonna hit like at least one of these jumps.
Yeah.
We need more of those guys who are just ready, who have not seen the floor, but who has not been a star, who don't really demand much, but
Yeah.
are ready when their name is called. I feel like we haven't really had that many guys like that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the problem with Joel too is when you talk about deferring. The problem with Joel is that he gets gassed too, like towards the end of the game,
Because
and
he's
he
doing
just
too
kind of
much.
he's just like at this point, like I need you all to score. Like I need somebody else
And
to
it's,
fucking step up
and
because I can't do it anymore.
that's what it felt like in Game 6, where it's like he's like, somebody please, like it's like because
Yeah, like
please
fucking
someone
help.
help me, bro.
But see, here's where I find a little bit of frustration with Joel. I've seen him push through fatigue before and still have a great end of the game. but it's always in games where he's the only one out there.
Mm.
Like, not the only one out there, the only star out there. Like the games when it was just him, no James or no Tobias or no James or Tobias. And it's like maybe Tyrese wasn't really hitting that game, or whoever else, like the other quote unquote star player that's on the team was like just not hitting. We've seen Joel push through fatigue and have some great fourth quarters. He looked exhausted while he did it. Like he was putting his head down, sweat pouring buckets off of his head. Like he looked exhausted, but we've seen him have some great quarters. As an MVP, as one of the best players in the league, I'm sorry, but game 6, when you're up at home, an elimination game, to get past the team that's eliminated you twice in the playoffs now,
Three
I need
times
you to
now.
just dig.
Oh, so
No, I'm
before
talking
that,
about at that time. Yeah,
third time, bro. We've been
like
in the playoffs. I think this is our 6th or 7th year in the playoffs. We've been taken out by the Celtics 3 times.
no, this is the third time.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like we've been
Yeah,
in the
no,
we've
I
been in the
mean
playoffs
like
like
in that moment in
yeah.
game 6, we weren't out of it yet. Like this is when you dig deep. Like this is when you got to just say, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna back these motherfuckers down, get as close to this basket
Or
as possible,
call a fucking
and I'm gonna
timeout.
put some shit up."
Call a
Oh
fucking
yeah,
timeout.
or call a timeout. Just, like you can. That's the thing too. Is like you can call a timeout. You don't need the coach to tell you.
You of all people can call a fucking timeout because you
Yeah,
matter. Like we go as
yeah,
far as you go. So if you need a
yeah.
fucking breather, God damn it, call that shit. Like,
Take a
bro,
timeout. Yeah,
I
go
don't
go get some water. Go take a seat.
take a sip of
Call
this
a quick
Shirley Temple.
timeout.
Just
Yeah.
chill,
So
bro.
like those in those moments, I hate to say it, but I need more from Joel. Only
I
because
don't
we've
I
seen
don't hate
him
to
be
say it.
able to give more.
I don't fucking hate to say it. No, bro, you the best player, bro. Once you get
Yeah,
those 3 letters of that alphabet, bro, we are looking at you way differently, bro.
yeah.
We
Because Harden not being in rhythm. I'm sorry, bro, but that's gonna happen.
that's the and this it's so
That's the nature of having James Harden in your on your team in the
and
playoffs.
this is why I don't want Harden back. It's just it's like the games he on. Like he had a great regular season. Don't get me wrong. He had a
And
great
he had a
regular season.
great 2 games. He had a great 2 games
But
in the Boston series.
but that game 6 and game 7 were so bad you don't even fucking
Right.
think about them. And like that's not great. Like where are you like you literally were the one of the reasons we were in the series, and then we're
Yeah.
one of the main reasons that we lost this shit. And it's
Yeah.
like obviously not everything going to him. We're not pointing the finger. We're not doing the Ben Simmons shit because Ben Simmons shit was on a different level. We're like, bro, like stop fucking like you saw him go back to Houston Harden, and maybe those games kind of done him over because he thought he was the motherfucker. He thought he was the man again. You saw like you see it where he just dribbles the fucking ball until it's like 3 seconds left on the clock, and then D'Anthony Mountain like do something. Like
But and D'Anthony Melton, who hasn't been hitting all game, it's like, why are
bro,
you passing it to him of all people?
motherfucker over there looking confused as shit. Is like, bro, you just gonna keep coming to me? Like you just gonna
And
keep passing to
what I hate was that I've always hated that PJ Tucker gets, all this praise for being a great leader and calling guys out, which he should. But I've never seen him do that to Harden.
homies. Hey,
I've
homies.
never seen him do that to
I've seen
Harden.
it.
I've
It's
never, in
crazy,
all the years in Philly, in Houston, I have never seen him chew out Harden, ever.
bro. He's
He'll
literally.
scream at Paul Reed. He'll go and get in Joel's ear when he's doing great or when he's
I've heard.
doing
I
bad or
saw
whatever.
him and Tobias. I've seen them go at it on some commercial breaks.
I ain't never seen him do that to Harden. And Harden is the nigga who needs it.
Like
Like,
Joel
go over there and tell him, yo, stop fucking doing that shit.
is Harden the one that doesn't respond well to shit?
I think
Is
so.
that PJ just knowing that he's not going to respond well to it?
I think so. And we talked about that last time. Like Joel, like knowing your personnel, knowing you can't talk to everybody the same way. But at the same time, it's like at after a while, it has to be a culture shift. Like it has to be like, yo, you gonna get used to this shit, or you got to get out of here.
Facts.
Like I
And
don't care how good you are. Like that's how Miami does it. It's like if you can't get with the fucking program, then get out of here. They did it to Dion. They did it to Hassan. Like they had good players that they let go because they couldn't get with the fucking program. And it's
yeah,
like at some point you got to start doing the same thing. That's how you hold people accountable. We've been talking about accountability for so fucking long. But at the end of the day, it's like you're still treating people like they're kids. Like this isn't a system. This isn't a professional environment. These aren't high stakes situations. We're not making millions of dollars to win games. Like there's millions of dollars on the line. Like
Right.
can you
And like Joel always talks about like you don't have the respect. I had Joel's back until I seen Jokic in the finals. But if you win a championship or you go on a finals run, that's when you get the respect. That's where all this shit everybody can say about you goes the fuck away.
bro?
All that process shit ends. All the discussions about your injuries ends. Like all that shit ends.
The only person who is still to this day scrutinized in spite of championships and in spite of success is LeBron. And that's because LeBron is not competing with anybody in the league right now. LeBron is competing with Mike. LeBron is competing with Kareem. He's competing with Magic. He's not competing with any of these niggas. When they talk about LeBron, they talk about LeBron's legacy. They don't say shit about his game right now.
Right. They don't give a fuck about that.
They don't say anything about
Bro,
that.
bro,
LeBron is the only person that still gets scrutinized to this day, and it has nothing to do with his play right now. It is all about him compared to guys who retired decades ago.
and
It is never even Giannis. Like Giannis just got out of it. If Giannis had not won a championship,
his ass being fucking Miami right now.
bro, if Giannis had not won a championship, and not only that, but doing that completely changed the conversation.
100%. All the
It went
criticism.
from oh, he doesn't have a jump shot. You
can't
can't
do it.
really build a team around him. You can't do it. You can't do this. You can't do that.
All that shit is
To
gone.
will Giannis finish with a better career than LeBron? Like
Right.
all that changed instantly.
not
Jokic. Oh well, yeah, the stats are great, but he can't get past it. As soon as he wins the championship, where do you place Jokic on the list of top centers of all time? Is he number one? I think he's number one now. It's like it's like you gotta. I hate to say it, but you gotta win a championship.
We're in a era of attention spans being the lowest they've ever been. So
Yeah.
if you haven't done something that has grabbed the attention of the people, you are going to forever be the thing they last thought you of. And it's
Yep.
like you gotta you want the respect, you want them to stop talking, bro. You gotta go win a championship, or
Yep.
you gotta have a deep run where it's like they lost, but he gave them every fucking thing he had.
Right. Like
Like-
an AI, like a Charles Barkley.
Fuck, like Jimmy Butler in the bubble when he's like
Yeah.
leaning on the shit, dripping
Yeah.
sweat. Like,
Yeah.
bro, no matter if they lost or not,
Yeah.
everybody's going. Jimmy Butler gave every fucking thing he had, and it just you lost to LeBron.
If Jimmy,
Like, you're
if
like,
Jimmy, if Jimmy can make it to one more finals, I think he gets his number retired in Miami.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. Like
he
you
brought them
either
back
have
to relevancy.
You either have to carry a team to the finals on deep playoff runs, whatever, or you have to just win a championship.
Pat Riley was talking about unretiring Jordan's number so Jimmy could wear it.
Yep.
Like, you don't do that shit to somebody who you don't think is capable or can honor it. Like, you don't like Jimmy is that guy. I just don't think he needs a number two that isn't Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero. He needs shit, and then it's like crazy because like it felt like for the longest that Jimmy couldn't be a number one, and now it feels more that he could be a number one, but he just can't do every fucking thing. Like,
Well, not only that, but I think Jimmy plays the long game in a similar way to how Joel used to before he started caring as much about the MVP. Where like I'm not gonna give you my everything in the regular season. I'm just not. I'm not gonna play in the All-Star game. I'm gonna take this as a break. And because Jimmy says like, yeah, sure, I get it. You know, I got voted in. People want to see me play, but at the same time, the rest of these motherfuckers over here ain't about to go and guard James Harden or Kevin Durant or any of these other guys in a game. Like there's somebody else guarding these best players on your teams. I have to be the best offensive player and the best defensive player on my team on a nightly basis. I don't give a fuck about no All-Star game. I don't give a fuck about most of the regular season.
And
like none of that shit matters
because you said
until
that,
we get to the playoffs.
Because you said that, I don't know what my thought process I'm trying to get of what is Joel next year. Like, what is his mindset next year?
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like, bro, you got the MVP. We don't care about the MVP. You got it. Cool. Whatever. Cool. We need you. Fuck those 82. We need you for that 16.
Yeah, exactly.
We listen, bro. If you are more valuable than that fucking award that you get, it's cool. You're more
Yeah.
valuable than that shit. If you ain't holding that Larry will be at the end of the year, that none of that shit matters, bro.
Yep. And I would say Joel, I would definitely and see it's hard because this is like this is like how it's been in the past where he's going into the offseason with an injury. But I would like for you to commit to getting in better shape. Not to say that he's not in good enough shape, but getting in a get like literally take the Miami Heat approach. Like try to get down to 10% body fat. Try to get down to maybe 8 or 9% body fat. Try to experiment with your weight a little bit, like Charles Barkley did when he first came into the league. Like try to find the weight where you can be powerful and explosive and not get gassed at the end of the game.
Joel, just don't jump no more. Just don't ever jump again,
I can't even
ever.
say don't jump
No,
anymore because
fuck that
obviously,
shit.
like
Take
he
those
still
set
needs to jump to
shots.
block
No,
shots.
fuck that. Fuck it. I don't want you to jump no more. I don't want you. Don't jump
Don't
into. You can't jump
don't
into the
jump into
second
the
round.
playoffs.
No, you can't even jump to the second round of playoffs. You can't jump into the second round of playoffs, bro.
Oh my god.
I mean, jump balls. Just try. Just put your hand up. If it don't come to
Yeah.
you, fuck it.
We'll just take it in the second half.
We'll just take, bro.
we'll
We
just
just
take
take,
this. We'll just take first ball in the
or
second half.
fucking make fucking Paul Reed jump and then immediately sub him out. Like that's just
Yeah, yeah, that's smart.
like
Yeah, I
don't.
don't know.
I don't want you to jump no more.
I
Um,
think it's weird. It's gonna be a weird season.
And one more thing I'll go before we get to our All Star draft. We actually have it finished. I actually have it written down.
Yep. Marquise did it.
Finally, all right. It's been fucking 2 years. It somebody we talked about Jimmy, and Jimmy was the last person who to bring it out of Joel, to bring, I guess, happiness, that energy, that dog out of Joel. I haven't really seen that dog in Joel. I haven't seen it since really then. He's gotten better as a player, but I haven't seen that dog in him. The talking shit as much. I haven't seen it.
Well,
And
just somebody to check him when his body language takes a dive.
and one of those guys might be available. And I want motherfuckers to hear me out on this shit. I know it's a big contract. But if you can flip Tobias Harris, or this guy gets brought out, Chris Paul is going to bring that shit out of Joel.
Bruh, honestly, listen, I was hoping that we could be because there was obviously news that Harden wanted to be out, but they were saying Houston. Some people were saying Phoenix. Honestly, I was hoping that if he did want to go to Phoenix, we could just do he could either accept his last year, like accept his player option, and we could just do a straight up Chris Paul for James Harden.
There was another guy because once we got down to like the last two teams that were really in the war, I was like, either way this could work out for us, because I thought Kyle Lowry was also another guy that could bring it out of Joel as well.
Yeah,
And I was like, damn, because Kyle Lowry is probably going to get brought out, and then even if CP3 gets brought out and we could bring him on a contract that's not as big as what he got, that shit is love. That would be
yeah,
dope as shit.
I would do that for sure.
Because like you look at what he's done to DeAndre Jordan, even DeAndre Ayton, like all these guys who aren't the most skilled, even though DeAndre Ayton is more skilled. Clint Capella is like all these guys. He's never played with a center like Joel Embiid, where
Nope.
that pick and pop, either way,
Yeah,
is going to be lethal. The playmaking, the guy who like Maxey can learn from in terms of playmaking, like Chris Paul is one of the smartest players in NBA history. To the
I
point,
think it's a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
to the point where he knows the fucking handbook. He knows where you're supposed to get the if you make a shot, you're supposed to get the ball over here. You're not supposed to get over here. You're supposed to get over here. Like he
Yeah,
knows it down to the fucking whistles. How many times
yeah.
you're supposed to whistle? Like he's one of those guys where I think Joel could not only learn from, but like excel with. And I just think he's like, if he's available, you try to.
Yeah. I think I think it's a great fit. I think in all honesty, I think James Harden proved that any guard who can come in with any decent level of passing ability can step into this situation and immediately lead the league in assists.
And guess what? Guess what Chris Paul can do that apparently nobody else can do?
Pass.
Pass the ball into the post.
Yep.
Bro, I let you not like if you don't watch the Sixers games, you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Joel will literally call for the fucking ball. The player will not even attempt to pass him the ball until somebody rotates over, and then Joel's fucking pissed. Like Joel has, if you don't watch Six games or if you watch them, Joel has the worst body language ever. Like you know when he's pissed. Like you just
Yeah.
know it. Like he's not just a turnaround. No, he's a what the fuck. Like he has
Yeah.
to show you he's pissed. And the amount of times I've seen Joel call for the ball and nobody pass it to him, and him
Yep.
just turn around like what the fuck? What the fuck do you get paid for? Like
And it's not like I think he wouldn't be upset if it was like, oh, they didn't pass it to me because they went and made a move themselves. Like with Tyrese, if Tyrese can't get the ball in the post,
he
he's gonna
driving that
just
shit.
drive.
He
He's just
driving
gonna
that
just
shit
drive it. And Joel is like typically okay with that.
because he could get
But
if he don't miss
anybody
it, he gets the
else,
rebound.
exactly. But anybody else is like, if you see me and I have position and you decide to just pass the ball in the other direction, or just sit there and dribble it, or dribble away from me, I got it. You got to hear me.
And
I'm gonna have to scream at you.
there is a couple instances where like Joel see another guy like kind of roaming, and like he'll like run to the other side and try to get them to swing it, over there and try to post up. But there's a lot of situations where, especially Tobias Harris is the worst fucking post passer in the
Oh my god.
history of ever.
Yeah.
Okay, Joel, like it was even I think it was in the playoffs. I think it was against Brooklyn, and like Joel's calling for the ball. He had fucking Royce O'Neal on him. Everybody was saw that Joel had Royce O'Neal, so they're starting to rotate over to the other side so Joel can have the ball by himself. I lie to you not. Royce O'Neal is just behind. Like it's to the point where like I'm pretty sure if they angled the camera right, you don't see that fucking Royce O'Neal is behind him. You don't see him at all. The
Yeah.
fact that he waits till Royce O'Neal fronts him to try to pass it's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You had 23 seconds to pass him the ball. You pass it to him with 1 second left, and do something. Like, bro,
Yep.
come on.
There you
And
go. Hot potato.
right. And yeah, Chris Paul's a guy I would try to get, especially if he gets brought out. And his contract isn't so big that you could bring
Yeah.
Chris Paul in, let Tyrese Maxey really be Tyrese, because Chris Paul really don't need the ball. He's at a point in his career where, listen, let me get the ball when it's fourth quarter. I'm gonna make sure y'all in your right spots. We gonna get this playoff. He's at that point in his career. He just wants to compete for something that's more than the second round. We need more
Yeah.
winners around us. He's always
Yeah.
been a player that's been a winner, even without a championship. He's been a winner. PJ,
I would
Chris
I would say
Paul,
Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry would be very good fits, both
100.
because number one, they like you said, they're willing to get in guys' faces. They have that leadership quality. Number two, they can knock down shots from the perimeter and they can both pass. Number three, they both have a tendency to turn it up a little bit in the playoffs or just when they need to in general. And then number four, I would honestly like Kyle Lowry too, because number one, he's from the area.
Yeah,
Number two, the Nick Nurse connection.
yeah.
Like he's already won a championship with Nick Nurse. So I think either one of them would be a pretty good fit. But obviously the age is a factor. Kyle Lowry's still playing well, but the injuries are
I
starting to
think
catch up to him a
I
little bit.
honestly think they're the same age.
Yeah, yeah. Like both of them are still playing at a high level, but
We don't
the
need them.
durability is like
It,
is
it,
starting to dive.
it would give Tyrese Maxey that true number two spot, but also they
Yeah,
would be game managers. They would be the
yeah,
guy. We don't need to spot the ball, especially Kyle Lowry, who's a better 3-point shooter at this point of his career than Chris Paul. But just like we don't need the ball. Hey, you get here. Like how many times I've seen like Kyle Lowry when I was watching the Miami Heat, he doesn't have the ball, but he's like yelling at guys to get the fuck in the right position. Like
yeah,
even when he knocked the ball, he's still like an on court coach, and we haven't really had that. Like people could say James Harden was that, but like I mean like a guy that's like once again James Harden has terrible body language. Like a guy that's not going to go, oh fuck, what the fuck are you doing? Versus somebody who's going to like literally come up to you and just like, listen, we're gonna run this here, we're gonna do this here, you're gonna be here, you gotta be here.
Yeah,
Versus somebody who just walks away from the play and look at somebody like they stupid. Like especially if you
yeah.
got young guys in there, like Paul Reed. There
Or
was a
sits and cries at the ref.
right, and like that's another thing I want Joel to fucking do. Get your ass up and get back on fucking defense, bro. You didn't get the
Yep.
call. You whining, complaining is not going to fucking make them just go, oh, you're right.
Bro,
Blow the
him
whistle.
him and James. There was a game, it was against Boston. James went in for a layup or something and he got fouled. I'll say this, he got fouled and he didn't get the call. And him and Joel
Oh yeah, I remember that. It's like, bro, what the
were
fuck are you doing?
yeah, him and Joel were sitting there yelling at the ref. And I was just like, if I'm Doc Rivers, they're both coming out.
Bro, there's no fucking way. But also Doc Rivers don't have the ball. And the one thing I would say about Nick Nurse, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, his ability to just go, I need this guy out there right now because he's better than you right now. Like we've seen it with Tobias Harris, we saw it with PJ Tucker, but like we have not seen it. We didn't see James get taken out. We haven't seen Joel got taken out. Like we haven't seen it.
Nope.
And I feel like Nick
And
Nurse,
tell him why.
right?
Like that's the thing. Like Greg Popovich, we talk about this so much because no other coach, even I would say Eric Spoelstra. I would say Eric Spoelstra and Greg Popovich are the two greatest coaches in the league right now.
Mhm.
And then a close third would be Steve Kerr. But like the ability to be okay with your stars being mad at you. Like
They're gonna be
I don't
happy
give
when
a
they win.
fuck
You get
if you
over it.
like me. Yeah, like I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you're mad at me. I don't. I don't care. Jimmy, you want to fight me? I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna sit you down. Shut the fuck up. Like
And like
just shut up.
Nick Nurse has also coached PJ Tucker before. He was
Yeah.
assistant coach when PJ was in Toronto. So just
Yeah.
that the connection between those two. I think he was also a coach when PJ was in the G League, in the D League at that point as well. Just like that connection
Yeah.
where like he might be like PJ might be the UD of like I know what he's trying to do. I know what he's trying to get across.
Hmm.
Fall in line. Like we just need more guys who just like hey, play as a team. We're a fucking team.
Yep.
We win and lose together as a fucking team.
Yep.
Like
And give effort.
effort, bro, 100% all the time. I
Yep.
mean, not against the fucking Hornets in December, but like like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like just take
Like
care of business.
if you lose some games, see that's the thing. Like I think this year showed us too how important playoff seeding is. So that's the tough part of it is like finding that balance between being competitive so you can get a good seed, but at the same time not overexerting yourself in the regular season.
Can I say something? And it might be crazy. Then we could probably go to the All Star thing that we did. I don't give a fuck about the regular season this year at all. Like at all. I don't
I
think
mean, I do only because of seeding.
I care. I mean, I'm probably gonna watch it because one, we have a podcast. Two, I'm a fucking idiot and I get invested with this shit. But like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I go the Sixers are gonna be the first seed next year, and this is why. Because I don't fucking care. The year the time I don't care. They give me a reason to fucking care, Sean. They bring me in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. See me when we get to the second round. That's when I really care.
Yep.
They're going to be the fucking best team in the fucking NBA. And it's like, I'm in it. And just to fucking lose in the second round. You know what I thought about, Sean? I thought about creating a thumbnail for when we get eliminated next year.
Oh my god.
I thought about just pre-making it. Just pre-making this thumbnail. Just to have. Just to have, just so I don't have to do it later. Just pre-making it now. Just Joel again with his fucking shoulder shrugging and shit like that. Just like, what do we do now? like
What now?
shit just says help. Like just
Yeah.
help. Like
Yeah.
we
Or
can
Miami? Question mark.
Miami. Yeah, I just thought about doing that. Sad depressed Sixers fan here. I have papers. Like I actually wrote this out. Like I have like actual like papers with like a lot of shit on it.
Let's see it.
I did work, you know. I did my job.
Yep.
So to remind people of what
You are
happened,
the executive producer of this podcast, so that makes sense.
I am. So me and Sean had a draft It was a All Star potential draft. So that consisted of us drafting one All Star who's made it one time, and then we would draft four other guys we thought were possibly going to be All Star or had All Star potential. We also drafted two rookies, and we drafted like three rotational players to fill out the 10 roster spots. Um, I had some more rules and shit stuff like that, but like that's on my phone, and my phone is like over there charging. So like just
We
go
we
ahead.
essentially voted on like we did a draft, but it was based on like awards, like who we thought would win Rookie of the Year, who we thought would win like first team, like
No,
all these
that was
things.
before that. That was the prediction. This is the
Oh,
draft.
right.
So let me run down Sean's team. Sean's one-time All-Star was Dejounte Murray. Um, his
Who did not make an All Star again?
he did not make it again. His then now we're on his All-Star potential guys. These are guys who haven't
Yep.
made the All-Star team but had potential to make it. You went with Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray did not make the All Star team, so he did not get points for that. But also, what I was thinking of addition of next year that we do, we probably most like going to do this like probably before the season, after the draft sometime, so we know who's on what team for sure.
Yeah.
What I want to add is championship points.
Okay.
I want to add championship points, so if we get anybody who wins the championship, doesn't have to do much on there, to just have to win the championship that year.
Okay.
Um, you also drafted Christian Wood. You drafted Kristaps Porzingis, but Kristaps Porzingis already was an All Star, so you had to change
Right.
it
So I had to change it
to
to
Christian Wood.
Christian Wood.
We were supposed to
He
take
also did not make the All Star team.
points away for if they have an off season, but like I didn't do it this time because like I feel like a lot of players we had that we drafted were in weird positions where like either they got lower on the totem pole or they were used poorly. In Christian Wood's case,
He
um,
was definitely used poorly.
you also drafted Tobias Harris
Yep.
as an All Star potential candidate, and
Yep.
here we are about to trade him.
Yep. So let me explain. The reason why I did that was because I thought the Sixers would possibly be the number one seed. And usually when you're the number one seed, you're sort of allotted more all-star picks. People look at more of your players as potential all-stars. Like for instance, the year the Atlanta Hawks won like 65 games or whatever, they have four all-stars. The Miami Heat obviously had three all-stars.
Which
Like it happens. The Golden State, three all-stars.
the
It
reason
happens.
I did Tyrese Maxey, who we're going to read again on my list,
Yeah.
because I thought about that same thing, but I also thought that Tyrese Maxey was that third guy that they people would look over Tobias Harris, but we both were
Mhm.
wrong. You also selected Cade Cunningham, who missed majority of the season.
Yeah.
Um, so this is now his bench. He drafted Jalen Duran. Jalen Duran made an all rookie team, so you got 25 points.
Okay.
That's your only points. Uh, D'Anthony Mountain.
Anthony
D'Anthony,
Melton. Okay, go
he
ahead.
would have gotten you points if D'Anthony Mountain started way less games. He would have got you some points because
Yeah.
he averaged over 10. I do want to
Now see,
addition,
and that's one of those things where like that only happened because Tyrese missed 21 games.
and also because they kind of liked the way it looked even when Tyrese got back. Um,
Right. Yeah. And
but
they decided to keep him in the starting lineup for a
what
while.
what I do want to think is like, what can we do for more rotation players, like guys who are starter type thing? Like what like points could we add for them? Like what can we say if they do this, they get X amount of points or something like that? I don't know.
Maybe like a bench player that becomes a starter or something like that. A
Yeah,
bench
some
player that you can see becoming a starter by the end of the season.
yeah, okay, maybe. Or a bench player that starts, I guess, more games than they started the previous season, or something like that.
Okay.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. Just like more things for that because I saw like a lot of guys that we had on the bench average more than 10 points, but they still were kind of
Bench.
starters,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So maybe we do that. Um,
Okay.
you also selected Kenny Lofton as one of your rookies. Um,
Yeah.
he didn't really play like this. Play like that. You also you then
But you know why? But you know why? Is because I did not predict Jaron Jackson Jr. to come back that fucking fast.
yeah, and also they had Brandon Clark, which I thought
Right.
Brandon Clark, and they had see when you picked him, I was very confused because they had Brandon Clark, and then on top of that, they drafted a power forward in the first round, Jake Laravia or something like that. They
Yeah,
drafted him, and also they
but
had David Roddy. So I'm like, he's like fifth on the list. Like I didn't
but see,
understand that.
Jake Laravia, yes, but he's also he was more of a shooter. Like he was a stretch forward,
But
honestly.
but think about this: you have and then the Davy Roddy,
I didn't know about him. I just honestly
and then
completely forgot
on
about him.
top of that, what's his name? Tillman, who was like showing his ass in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that, so like
So, but see, he also kind of came out of nowhere. Like at the time, Kenny Lofton was like he just had more tape. Like there was just more examples of him being a really good player. Like
you know
you
what?
know what I mean? But
If
he was a rookie, so obviously it wasn't against NBA talent. But still, like I I thought he had the potential to come in and like legit compete for minutes with Jaren Jackson Jr. being out. I thought Kenny had the potential to come in and compete with whoever else they had on their bench for minutes.
what's something we could do for rotation players is like if they damn why the fuck did I just lose my trade of mind? It's hot in here. I'm fucking losing everything.
In here as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to turn off my AC for this because I don't want the sound in the background. So like it
I had
gets
to turn
hot.
off my fan. You can
Yeah.
see the blades, right? The shadow of the blades through the window. They're not
Yeah.
moving.
One thing we should add possibly is like somebody going like over 30 points, like a bench player or rotation player going over like 30 points.
Okay.
Because if that
Okay.
case, you would have won. You would have got points off of him because I think in the last game of the season he scored like 42, like
Yeah.
something like that. We could
But see,
add.
that's the shit that I was talking about. Why did it take that long for him to get in? That's why I was so pissed. I was like, he can do it. Play him more. I love Kenny.
So do we go over 20 or over 25?
Uh, for a bench player or for a rookie?
I guess the rotation player. If a rotation player goes over
Okay.
25 points, I mean,
Uh,
but how would we track that? Because that's like, damn, that's like, what if somebody just breaks out in like every fucking game? Is that do we go if it happens one time?
because that's the problem. If that does happen, they probably aren't a rotation player anymore. They probably become a starter or
Not average, but like goes off. So let's put like the number at like 30. If one of our
okay.
rotation players go for 30,
Okay.
how many points would you give to that? 30?
I would say you give them 20 points and a point for every additional point that they score over 30. So if they hit 30, you get 20 points. If they hit 35, you get 25 points.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
You know what I mean? If they hit 36, you get 26 points.
Putting this in my book.
Like a real fantasy draft.
Yeah, okay, I got you. So rotation players that did that.
Yeah.
And okay. You also drafted Jordan Poole, who like would go. You probably would have got more points. For that. Um, and then you
How many
draft
points did I get
25
for Jordan Poole?
for Jordan Poole. No, you didn't get nothing
Why?
because it was a starter.
Oh fuck! Damn it! You're right.
That's why I was like, we got to have more things for rotation players.
Yeah.
So like, you could have got more points. That's why I wanted to add
Wait,
it.
he didn't start the whole year though. What did he
Start,
start at the three?
he started more 20.
Oh fuck! Because of Wiggins.
He started
Damn
more
it!
than 25 games, which would not
Damn
even
it! Because of
classify.
Wig. I forgot about fucking Wiggins being out. God damn it!
So what I did was we just did all the showing. You also drafted Lonzo Ball, who probably career is fucking over.
Yeah.
What I did was
That won't happen again.
I got your highlights. Jalen Duran was all rookie team. That's 25 points. Something we're added because like I want to give you the points for this because like if I don't like it looks very fucking lopsided. So I gave you the Jamal Murray championship points and that's 60 points. So 85 points for you. I decided if
Okay.
you're a champion, that's like 60 points. Like fuck it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna start drafting a whole bunch of people in the same fucking team. Just trying to win.
That's why I'm like, well, I can maybe
Put
see that not
put all my
being
chips in.
fair.
Put all my chips in the table. But also we're drafting all star potential, so we're probably gonna have one of each player.
Yeah.
Low lights. Of course, Lonzo didn't
Everyone.
play it at all, and DeAnthony Melton actually started 58 games.
Yeah.
But we got some stuff for
See, that's
rotation
the thing.
players.
There were so many things that happened that I just weren't. I would have never been able to predict. Like I never predicted Jaren Jackson would come back that fast. I never predicted that uh, Tyrese Maxey would miss 20 something games and then still come off the bench even after he came back healthy. I never predicted that Andrew Wiggins would miss that much time with like the personal, stuff. It just there's certain things that you just can't see coming.
I'm just going to say this: one, if Sean's team was versus my team is killing his team. Just by
Oh,
the
for
players I
sure.
drafted.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
so my
Half my
team,
team doesn't play.
half his team is getting
Like,
traded this offseason. Um, and or traded or injured. Like it's okay. My All Star player, my player who made one All Star appearance was Brandon Ingram. He of course did not do another one. He did not make another
right.
All Star game this year, but Anthony Edwards did, who I drafted right after him as my All Star potential guy. He did make an All Star
Yeah.
game, which gave me. Let me see, pull up my stuff. It gave me 75 points. All right, now
Wait,
hold up.
wait, hold on. Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
It
whoa,
was
whoa.
all
Wait a second.
it was always 75. It was always
When did we
75.
decide this? When did we decide the points?
No, no, not no. Like literally, in my additions is to have a first time All Star reduced in points because like I feel like
Okay.
we kind of threw like everything to like maybe he's All Star like because it was all called an All Star potential draft at first before we added on the rest. So
Okay.
them making an All Star was a big thing of it. But I did one of my additions is that the first time All Star is going to be lowered to 50,
Okay.
but not yet. um, my other All Star potential guy who could have possibly made it, probably should have made it, was Jalen Brunson. Um,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also drafted Tyrese Maxey. And a guy I thought was going to play great because I mean he did have an okay season, but a guy that I thought was really going to really take off because Jaren Jackson wasn't there and he was the second option. I also did not count on him getting injured, and that was Desmond Bain. Uh,
Oh yeah.
so my bench, my rookie only drafted one rookie. Because I think we had a max of two, but I think we had to have one at least one. I drafted Tari Eason. Tari Eason made an all rookie team. So I
Yeah.
got 25 points added to my 75. I won, by the way. It was
Yeah.
me. It was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm the winner. I also drafted Jordan Clarkson, who I probably would have got extra points for if we added this new system. I drafted Marcus Smart because I wanted defensive points, and Marcus Smart had the worst defensive year in recent years. And it's like, oh, great, you do that when I need you. When I need you, like when I don't want you to play great, you just have no problem.
When
You have no
Marquise
problem.
needed him most, he
Just,
vanished.
he wasn't there. I also drafted Andre Drummond because I thought he could get. Wait, so we do this? So should it be?
Wait, you drafted Andre Drummond as a rotational player, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So can nah, I won't do it. I won't do that. I won't do all that extra work because it's gonna be me adding this shit up. So no, never mind. I also drafted as my last player on this list. I drafted Matisse Thybulle because I thought he was gonna make an all defensive team, and
Mm.
I mean, it was other guys who I think him getting traded and like him like getting looked down upon kind of flexed a little
Yeah.
bit into that. But yeah, that was it. Um,
And by the way, I just want to say, uh, on behalf of all the Philly fans who are not complete fucking dicks, I don't know who did it, but Matisse,
oh
I'm sorry
the painting
that
thing.
somebody went and fucked up your mural
Yeah,
because that was completely unnecessary. And then you had a whole like sweet goodbye where you like
it's
went and spray painted the thank you over it, and like I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know why they felt like that was necessary, but whoever fucked up the mural, you are a dick, and I hope you get cancer. So that was it.
okay.
I hope you get.
Oh,
I hope you get dick cancer,
we get to cancer.
not prostate. I want the cancer in the front.
All
Dick
right,
cancer. Dickhead cancer.
we
Cancer in the head of your penis.
That was it. That's all. That's all. I think we should end it on that. Sean.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out with us and tuning into this week's episode of the Untitled Hoops podcast. Once again, if you're a repeat listener, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the listens. We appreciate the love. If you're new here, if you liked it, you can find even more episodes of not only this podcast, but even some other podcasts that we've done on our website, blackflagent.online. Or you can, of course, keep listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. We love getting comments. We're going to try to reply to as many of them as we can. Add us to your favorites, hit the notification bell, all that cool stuff. And if you're on the website, make sure to hit up the store and check out some of the merch we got. You can get a
Also,
gray beanie that says the lowlights on it, just like Marquise's, but with the actual logo on it.
if you're gonna comment, watch the fucking episode, dude. We had somebody comment last episode who obviously did not watch it. It wasn't clickbait, okay? Because I said it in the title what we had
Clickbait.
Nikola Jokic and Tim Duncan in. I said, is he the next Tim Duncan? I wasn't talking about their play style. I was talking about their personalities. If you would have watched the fucking episode, you would have saw that. I'm sorry, Sean. Continue.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I agree. Um, I think that was it. Uh, we'll see you guys later. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Marquise for president.